Hello, welcome to the News Broadcast Daily, and following are today's headlines.
The cooperation subcommittees of Vietnam and Laos meet in Luang Prabang, Laos from August 6 to 12. Deputy Prime Minister Hoàng Trung Hải inspects construction work at the Duyên Hải Thermal Power Center in Mekong Delta. Banks are asked to reschedule debts and lower interest rate to ease difficulties for the animal breeding and aquaculture sectors.
The cooperation subcommittees of Vietnam and Laos convened a meeting in Luang Prabang, Laos from August 6 to 12 to review the two countries' cooperation in the first 6 months of this year.
The meeting was attended by Nguyễn Xuân Phúc, Deputy Prime Minister and head of the Vietnam-Laos Cooperation Subcommittee, and Somsavat Lengsavat, Deputy Prime Minister and head of the Laos-Vietnam Cooperation Subcommittee. The two sides highly valued the close cooperation between agencies and local governments at all levels in organizing activities celebrating the Vietnam-Laos Friendship Year. They also noted the expanding cooperation in defense, security, education and human resource training, as well as the smooth coordination between the two countries at multilateral forums. Regarding economic ties, by June this year, Vietnamese businesses had invested in 435 projects worth $5.2 billion in Laos. Import-export turnover between the two countries reached almost $466 million in the period from January to June, an increase of 33% year-on-year. The figure is expected to reach $1 billion for the entire 2012. In the remaining months of this year, the two sides plan to organize negotiation teams for a new agreement on investment encouragement and protection. The two countries will also continue to carry out effectively the project on bilateral trade development for the 2008-2015. At the meeting, the two deputy prime ministers witnessed the signing of the meeting's minute, an agreement on pilot implementation of projects financed by the Vietnamese government, and a deal on exploring lead and zinc ores in Xiên Quảng. As part of his visit to Laos, Deputy Prime Minister Nguyễn Xuân Phúc on August 11 made a tour of the Luang Prabang Senior High School, which is under construction as a gift from former Vietnamese Party General Secretary Nông Đức Mạnh to Luang Prabang Province. Work on the school started last November and is expected to complete this December to mark the Vietnam-Laos Friendship Year 2012. Also the same day, Deputy Prime Minister Phúc visited the Royal Palace and Phanom Village, which specializes in producing traditional brocade and silver products.
On August 11th, a Deputy Prime Minister Hoàng Trung Hải inspected construction work at the Duyên Hải Thermal Power Center in Chai Vinh Province. He urged investors and contractors to speed up work to serve the Mekong Delta.
The Duyên Hải Center is one of the largest power centers in the southern region. It comprises 4 coal-fired power plants with total capacity of 4,200 megawatts, completed with a seaport system for receiving fuels. The project is invested by the Vietnam Electricity Group and the Janakuasa Group of Malaysia, with a total cost of about $8 billion. Work on the construction of the center started in 2010 with the aim of putting the main power plant into operation by the end of 2015. Preparations are also underway for the construction of the seaport project, which will be able to receive 30,000-ton ships and handle 12 million tons of coal per year. Deputy Prime Minister Hải asked the investors to coordinate with contractors to ensure the project's quality, progress, security and working safety at the site. He also said the investors should attach importance to implementing the project synchronously, especially in works related to the seaport and transmission systems.
The Mekong Delta province of Kiên is working hard to prepare for the launch of Phase 1 of an international airport on the resort island of Phu Quoc. The province hopes the airport will give a much-needed boost to local development.
The launch of Phu Quoc International Airport will open up new opportunities for Kiên to promote its tourism potential and attract more external investment in its trade and tourism sectors. It will also improve access to Phu Quoc Island, helping turn it into an eco-tourism center not only of the country but also of the region. Work on the construction of the airport started in November 2008 on an area of more than 900 hectares in Dương Tơ Commune, Phu Quoc district, with a total investment of more than 16 trillion dong, equivalent to $770 million. Once fully operational by 2020, the airport will be able to receive Boeing aircraft and to serve 2.6 million passengers and 14,000 tons of goods per year. The island hopes to receive between 2 to 3 million tourists annually, with 40% being foreign visitors by 2020. At present, Vietnam Airlines and Mekong Airlines are operating flights to Phu Quoc from Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City.
Mekong Delta provinces are working together to develop a strategy to raise their industrial production value to 302 trillion Vietnam dong by 2015, accounting for 40% of the region's total GDP.
To achieve this target, the provinces will promote cooperation with Ho Chi Minh City and the southeastern region to develop industries based on their own advantages, with a focus on processing seafood and agricultural products. Under the strategy, the Delta will set up additional industrial zones and complete the seaport system while upgrading main roads linking provinces in the region. Local authorities will cooperate with research institutes and universities to get access to new technology and scientific advances and provide training to the local workforce. Besides, businesses in the region will receive support in mobilizing capital and improving their competitiveness.
The Prime Minister has requested the State Bank and state-owned commercial banks to reschedule debts and lower interest rate for enterprises in the breeding and aquaculture sectors.
Accordingly, the banks will continue to provide loans at the lowest interest rate in the market to households, cooperatives and enterprises operating in animal breeding, slaughtering and meat processing. Those involved in breeding and processing fish for export are also qualified for these loans. The Prime Minister also instructed the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development to coordinate with relevant authorities in seeking new markets for fish export. In addition, the ministry is tasked with devising long-term measures to develop animal breeding and fish farming, ensuring supplies to meet both domestic demand and for export. Provincial people's committees should work out policies to support production and stimulate consumption in their locality.
Lotus-scented tea has long been a speciality of Hanoi, but the most sought after is tea scented by lotus flowers from the West Lake. It requires a lot of time and efforts to make the tea the traditional way.
In summer, at 4:30 a.m., the scent of blossomed lotus wafts across West Lake in Hanoi. As the sun rises slowly into the sky, lotus flowers open up all across the lake. Lotus pickers in small rowing boats must try to pick the flowers as quickly as possible so that the buds will not crumple up. Around the lake, there are huts of those who take lotus anthers as a material for lotus-scented tea. According to lotus tea makers, there are two ways of scenting tea. During the lotus blossoming season, a handful of tea is put inside a lotus flower and left in there for a day. That's long enough for the unique scent of the flower to imbue the tea leaves. The tea can be kept in a dry place for 7 to 10 days. Another way, and also the common way, is to scent tea using the lotus anthers. A kilogram of this tea would require about 1,000 lotus flowers and about 3 or 4 weeks to make. Lotus-scented tea using the traditional method of Quảng An wort has been granted a trademark certificate by the Department of Intellectual Property. At present, there are 25 families in Quảng An wort making lotus tea, with an average 1 ton of products each season. The specialty is priced very high at 6 million dong or $300 a kilogram, 20 times the price of normal tea. Today, medical experts claim that lotus tea can at the very least ease stress levels, lower blood pressure, and reduce cholesterol levels.
We come to the end of the news today. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.